Namaskar, Suswagatam. Hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm RVD and this is the next video in my playlist Placement Interview Questions on C Programming. So let's continue with the topic for the current video. We are now into input and output. We've already seen the outline of input and output in C. We have seen the unformatted input-output which is being used by C in the form of getChar and putChar functions. Now it's the time to get into formatted input-output, which is the one widely used in all the programs of C programming. So in this particular video, we'll be looking at the first stage, that is formatted input. Okay, so the question for this video is, what is the scanf function in C? So we're going to talk about the scanf function in C. We'll also try to understand why it is called as scanf. Okay, what exactly is the syntax? We'll try to understand the concept of format specifier, and we'll also try to understand it in a better way with proper examples. So let's start. First is about function scanf. Now you know scanf is considered as formatted input. Now, what do you mean by formatted input? So it's a function for formatted input. We already had seen that this is a library function which is available in stdio.h. That's a header file. So if you want to use scanf function, you're going to include stdio.h file for sure. Okay. Now, why it is called as formatted input and what it means by that? See, formatted input is an input function which is capable of accepting input in any format. You know, we have different formats. Now, if you look at getChar, it was only meant for accepting a character. So it was unformatted. Whereas in scanf, we can provide input in any format. And that's the reason it is called as scanf. You can see it is used to accept input in any format from the user. So scan with the format, and that's the reason user also have to provide the format of the input. See, when I say getChar, a user doesn't have to provide the format. That is because getChar is only meant for accepting the character. But when we are using scanf, which is capable of accepting input in any format, then we are supposed to provide which format of the input we are currently giving. Okay, so that is how the syntax of the scanf function would look like. So let's look at the syntax. So you will see here the name of the function is scanf. We already had seen how the function syntax looks like. You know, we have a function name, then we have the argument list, and we have return type and so on. So here scanf acts as a function name. So it's a function name. What about the argument list? Mainly or broadly, it has got two arguments. The first argument is called as control string. I've written that in the less than greater than sign. It indicates it will be replaced by something. But you can see it is being put in double quotes. So when I'll take the example, you'll be able to understand what it means. Okay, so what that control string will contain, we will also discuss. And the next is going to be argument list. Okay, mark this ampersand here. That's nothing but address operator. We've already seen that in the previous videos. We have videos on operators, specifically unary operators. In that, address operator is being used. You know, it is to generate the address of the given operand. And it is very significant here, right? Because whenever we are reading something from the user, I want to store that in a particular variable. If I want to store that variable, I have to access the memory location of the variable. And hence, what we need to provide here is the address. So you should understand one thing. Whenever you will put arguments in scanf, all of them, with maybe some exception, which also we'll talk about later on, but most of them rather will have a ampersand, that is address operator, because we will be providing the address of the variables. Okay, so that is about the arguments or argument list. That is two set of arguments. First is control string and second is the argument list itself, which rather depends on what you want to read. Okay. Along with that, if you look at the return type, okay, return type is nothing but int. Now, why the return type is int, we will also discuss about the same. Okay, but this is the syntax. Okay, so let us first try to understand what all we have and how exactly we are going to use this particular scanf. Now in control string, the major thing that we will have is called as format specifier. Format specifier. Now if I give you a simple example here, which will make the things more clear. If I want to read an integer, let's say int a, my scanf is going to look like this. Scanf, in double quotes, I have to provide the format specifier, and where I have to store it, I have to store it in a, so I'll provide the address of a. Now what do I provide here? That is called as format specifier, which will specify the format of the input we are supposed to expect. Okay, now here the format specifier is always written with %sign. Okay, currently just for the learning purpose, I'll tell you for format specifier of int, we use %d. Now why it is %d? It is actually not correct to say for int we use %d. All these things will be revealing maybe soon in couple of minutes. So this is how rather a simple scanf will look like. Now you understood when I say this is your control string, which is in %sign, okay, which is in double quotes, and format specifier is referred using %sign. So %d, out of that, d is a format specifier we have used, and % is to make the syntax clear that it is format specifier. And where I want to store it, I want to store it in a, so I have provided the address of a. That's how you look. You will be writing the scanf. Now it will be really wonderful, or it will be really useful rather, to understand what are the different format specifier we will be using. Because for int somehow we got %d or d, and that too also I said that it is not the appropriate way to say that for int it will be %d. So what is it all about? Let's look at the format specifiers. So format specifiers, we have a list of format specifiers. Okay, maybe I can go one by one also, but I don't think it's worth right now spending too much of time on that. So I'll just present the table in front of you. I've just kept it in the alphabetical order so it becomes easy for you to remember. We have some extra also. I just tried giving you in brief which are more significant. For example, if I want to work with char, I'll be using C. Okay, if I want to work with int, I'll be using I. If I want to work with float, I'll be using F. There is no double. I'll tell you why. What is there for double as well. Now, first of all, it is surprised to see that for int we have I, but for int I had used %d. See, understand one thing. Int can be in three ways. First is decimal, the other one is octal, and the third one is hexadecimal. There are three types of integer constants possible. Now, if at all I ask you a question, there'll be a simple answer that whenever by default I expect something, some value in integer format from the user, what is the type of integer I'm expecting? Isn't it decimal? And that's the reason whenever I say integer, instead of using I, by default I'll be using what? D. And I'll be writing %d because the values I expect from the user would be by default in decimal. You know, it's a lot of in-depth concept is there, and we'll be able to have a separate video on that also, that whenever I'm reading, how can I have %i use, or if I use %i, what are the consequences? In brief, I'll tell you. Maybe later on, if possible, I'll keep a separate video also as a bonus video or something, where I'll be dealing with the different format specifiers and the effect of format specifiers and so on. But currently, if I say %i while doing scanf, you know, I'm actually allowing all three types of constants to be entered. And you know, if at all I start with 0, so instead of entering, let's say 23, I entered by mistake 0 to 3, it will be taken as octal 23. And you know, it will consequently will be converted to its corresponding decimal. In short, the things will not be in our control. So when I say integer, 100%, I would say rather, we expect decimal integers to be read. And hence for integer, I don't use I use D. Okay. Then for long, it is L. Then for string, it is S. Okay, which rather we'll do in detail in the string chapter. For unsigned, it is U. Okay. Now what is for double? Say, first of all, if I want to work with short int, okay, I'll be using %. For short, it is H, %HD. And short int can also be written as directly int. So I can very well say %d. If I want long int, it will be %ld, because L is for the long specifier. I can also write %l, or here not %d, rather %h also suffice for short int, because short is by default considered as short int. For float you have f, but for double there is no separate format specifier. So for double I can use lf. So double could be considered as long float, and I can use lf. For long double also one can use lf, you don't have to use llf. Or else sometimes you see some of them using capital L and then F, indicating it is long double. Okay, but even if I go with %lf, it will be sufficient to use. So I guess you got a good knowledge of format specifiers. Let us take some examples how to work with your scanf, okay, and how to write some proper scanf for doing a appropriate reading. So as I already said, suppose I have, let's say, two integers, int a and b. This is how I'll be writing scanf. Scanf %d, %d, ampersand a, ampersand b. That tells you even if the type or the format specifier of both the arguments are same, you have to repeat them. Okay, and that too no space, quotes, no space, %d. There could be a space in between the two, or you can even don't keep any space. That's absolutely fine. But after this %d, again there would be quotes. There shouldn't be quote at the space at the beginning and at the end. Then we have a comma to separate control string with the argument list, and you can see each argument is separated by comma, but each %d is not separated by comma. Okay, we don't need to, because it's a control string, whereas here it's an argument list, so they must be separated by comma. Now suppose I want to read one integer, let's say int a, but I want to read another one as a float x. Now, can I read them simultaneously? Yes, you can. I can very well write scanf %d, %f, okay, comma. Now, this sequence obviously will be very significant. The first one I'm expecting is integer, and the next one I'm expecting is float. So it has to be ampersand a and ampersand x. Clear? Okay, that's how you'll be able to work with scanf. Now, the next point is, what about the return type? We have not used the return type of scanf. Okay, obviously scanf returns the number of arguments read successfully. So for example, okay, let me just use another color. So if at all I do something like this, z is equal to scanf %d, %d, ampersand a, ampersand b, even though I generally don't do that, but if I do it, and if I could give two integers successfully, suppose I had given, let's say, 25 space 30. So 25 got stored in A, 30 got stored in B, and later on when you check what is the value of Z, it will be 2. Why 2? Because two arguments are read successfully. So mark my words, scanf returns number of arguments read successfully. Okay, so that's about return type of scanf. Now I'll also give you one more interesting fact about scanf, that is, how can I use a special character in scanf and what is the effect of that? Okay, so let's look at some of the examples. So suppose I do something like this. So I've got, let's say, int a and b. So scanf %d space %d ampersand a ampersand b. Okay, now this is a normal scanf. So if I put something like 25 space 30, okay, it's going to check 25, is it matching with %d? Is the format proper? Yes, 25 will be stored in A. Then is the second format proper, %d? Yes, it will be stored in B. That is happening properly. Now suppose we feel like doing some experiments, and if I put a comma here, now what will happen in the current state? 25 matching with %d, perfect. It will be stored in A. Understand that. But when next comes 30, it will be compared with comma and there is a mismatch. Then 30 won't be read. It won't do any error or something. It won't stop also. But simply B will store the garbage as it is. And if at all here you try to get Z equal to something, the value of Z will be only 1. Because how many arguments are being read successfully? Only 1. I hope you are getting this. Okay. Now, how do I solve this this particular problem? It's a simple rule. If, ideally what should be there in the control string? It should be only format specifier. The rule says, if you have any special character other than format specifier in the control string, then it must also repeat in the input. Wonderful, right? So for example, if at all I put comma here while giving the input, the things are going to work properly. 25 matches with %d, so it will be read in A. Okay, comma matches with comma, so it is simply overlooked, but the format matched. Because of that, it will go ahead with 30 matches with %d, and 30 will be stored in B. Again, the reverse is also true. If I don't have a comma here and if I put comma in between the two, it will still not be able to read the second argument. Fine. So actually, by doing this, I can very well force my user to give input in a typical format. For example, if I have something like this, scanf bracket %d comma %d bracket quotes A and B. I'm expecting input something like this. Let's say 8, 7. Something like, I give coordinates of a point or something. This bracket is going to match, 8 will be read, comma is going to match, 7 will be matched, bracket 7 will be read, and bracket will be matched. I can even make arrangement for reading a complex number or something like that. Let's say %d plus, let's say I %d, something like that. Slash n is not allowed, sorry. So this will not be there. Okay, I'll erase it. And then I can read simple integers. So that is ampersand A, ampersand B. How the input will be given? It will be given something like 2 plus I3. Isn't it wonderful? And what we actually are reading is nothing but 2 and 3, because the rest of the things are matched as per the kind of a design given in the scanf. So that's the strength of scanf that we have. Okay, maybe I'll just quickly tell you about reading also. Whenever, maybe a very simple example, just see if you can understand. Otherwise, currently you can overlook. It's not going to harm your concepts of scanf at all. Okay, it's about reading with %i. So if I do scanf %i and ampersand A, I'm inviting all types of integer. So here, if user gives input as 23, by default without any prefix, it is considered as what? It is considered as decimal, so it will be stored as 23. Internally, I'll always show what is decimal part of it. Suppose I write 023, then it will be considered as octal. What is octal 023 in 23? You should be, first of all, clear about that. I put 8 and 1 here. 8 to the 16 plus 3 is 19. So what will be read inside is 19 decimal. If at all I write 0x23, then it will be considered as hexadecimal. 16 to the 32 plus 3, it will be read as 35. That's the power of %i. Depending on prefix, it is capable of reading all. Now if I use only %o, if I use %o, तो क्या होगा? This is for %i. If I use %o, 23 will go as 19. You know why? Because even if I write 23 without prefix, I know it's octal, so it will be read properly. If I put 023, great, it will be obviously octal. But if I do 0x23, it will be garbage. Okay, it's going to read nothing. I'll just put 0, but it is garbage. Whereas if it is %x, I don't know whether you able to see that or not, so I'll put it here. If it is %x, the 23 will come as 35, which is by default hexadecimal. %x is hexadecimal. If it is 023, still it has no problem. It will not be considered as octal because the format specifier is hexadecimal. And if it is 0x23, that's wonderful. My hexadecimal understands that. It will be read as 35. Okay, so %d to all of you know. मैंने 6 तो वो भी दिखाता हूँ. %d 23 as 23. 023 वो माफ कर देता है. चलो 0 ऐसे ही लिखा. Okay, so it doesn't matter. 23 is read as it is. But if you write 0x23, your decimal can't understand that, so it shows garbage. So these are the 4 different ways I can use %d, okay, %o and %x. They are specific. Decimal, octal, hexadecimal. And if you expect all 3 and you want everything to be read as per the whatever prefix it has got, then %i. I guess now you might be understanding that jadoo of percent I. Percent I is for any type of integer. If you want specific, then it is decimal for percent D, percent O octal, percent X hexadecimal. As I said, I can actually create a separate video about the effect of all these things, but I just thought of giving you a brief about the same. In all, what exactly is the experience I guess you should conclude with is scanf is a very, very strong function for accepting input. And now you know that scanf, what stands for? Format. Scan with any format. The format specifier is the strongest tool that is being given with scanf. I can do wonders with the help of controlling that format specifier. Okay, so scanf in brief, it's a function for accepting formatted input. Okay, we had seen the syntax that it has got a control string, it has got an argument list. In control string, what I can have is only format specifier. If at all I put any extra thing, any special characters, it must repeat in input. Argument list, every argument must be prefixed with ampersand, that is address operator. Without that, it'll give you error. Then we've seen that the return type of scanf is int. It is hardly used, but the use is what? It returns the number of arguments read successfully. When I use that comma and when I use that special character, we can very well have a check to obviously understand whether all the arguments are being read successfully or not. I can very well have a if statement. Later on we'll see. If I don't get the desired input, I can very well declare an error in input or something like that. So it rather gives you more control over your program. Fine, so that is it. That's just a beginning. In all the programs to come, we'll be using scanf every now and then. Okay, so that will make it more clear for all of you. But as far as the current video is concerned, I have explained you scanf with all appropriate examples. Fine, so that's it from my side. Thank you and have a happy learning.